Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Blitz Sports Media Fantasy Football Channel. I'm yours truly, the Dean of Fantasy Football. And today we are taking a look at some of my must drafts as we head into the month of July. That draft season's right around the corner. And these are 5 players I am targeting in my drafts as we speak right now. And let's start off pretty much in the first round. This is a guy that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. He's one of my favorite fantasy players to this day. It's Jahmyr Gibbs from the Detroit Lions. He is, in my opinion, the best dual threat running back in the game. He's still on a Super Bowl contending team. Don't worry about how Ben Johnson's gone. He is going to be the RB1 on this roster, and I'm excited about it because Jahmyr Gibbs coming off a season with the most fantasy points for a running back. He fell second to points per game with Saquon Barkley. But, you scratch your head about that. Like, how does that happen? He's just that incredible. And when you really look into it about Gibbs, it's just the explosiveness that he has because he was 7th in catches last year, but 3rd in yards, in receiving yards for running backs. It's quite incredible. And when you really dive into it, and you may get worried about how the Lions still have David Montgomery out there, do not worry. Jahmyr Gibbs averages 16.5 points per game with Montgomery, and without David Montgomery, 27.5 points per game. I mean, this guy is unreal. Montgomery's getting older. He's hitting that 28 mark. That's kind of the peak for running backs. So, you look at Gibbs, still young, just 2 seasons under his belt. He is going to be the catalyst of this Lions offense, and he is just a money maker when it comes to fantasy football. Going on next, I'm going to stay in the backfield, but we're going to go down to Miami, where Devon Achane is one of my favorite players also in fantasy right now. He is a big-time scorer, finished as RB5 last season, and even the year before that, in his rookie year, he was RB3 from weeks 3 to the end of the season. He had a little rough stop in weeks 1 and 2, probably just getting his feet wet. Not sure how they were going to utilize him, but from week 3 on in his rookie season, he was RB3 in points per game. Absolutely phenomenal. And for Achan, he has been averaging 17.5 points per game. And the great thing is he's kind of alone now. We saw what Raheem Mostert was doing with him in Achan's rookie year, and then last year in and out taken away. But now it's Achan's show, man, and I cannot wait to see what he does. This Dolphins team needs to bounce back. Everyone kind of suffers when Tua's not there, but when Tua is there, you're looking at Achan averaging 20 points per game. So according to his ADP, maybe depending on what your drafts are going to go like, Achan paired with a beautiful wide receiver 1, or maybe even double stacking 2 running backs to start your draft would be a phenomenal move. Corner that market, and you're just going to get points on end throughout the season. And the other great thing about Achan is he's young. He played 17 games last year, and I'm really excited to see what 2025 holds for Achan. Moving on next, we're going to go into the receivers right now. And one of my favorite ones, I have a lot of upside for him. It's going to be DJ Moore. He gets Ben Johnson to be his new head coach. He's got Caleb Williams with a great arm. And you may get worried about the kind of crowdedness that's going on in that offense for the Bears with Rome Odunze, Luther Bird, and Colson Loveland. But the great thing about DJ Moore is reports out of training camp is he's being moved all over the place, right? And don't let that worry you, because Ben Johnson was doing the same thing with Amon-Ra St. Brown. And if you're looking at your draft boards, hey, St. Brown's a first-round pick, right? So for DJ Moore, still has the skill set. He's going to be placed in the slot on both sides of the ball, maybe on the outside for big-time plays, but he's going to be kind of that engine that gets Caleb Williams going in year 2 for the former number 1 overall pick. And the also crazy thing about DJ Moore is he's only missed 2 games in his career. So the best ability in football is availability. So you can count on DJ Moore to be in your lineup week in and week out. And I'm super excited for him because He's averaged more fantasy points with the Bears in these 2 years than he has in years before. So I think the ceiling is so high for him. He can get into that elite status, and I'm going to buy a lot of stock in DJ Moore this upcoming year. Next, I got another receiver that probably going to be later in your drafts, and if you're in a competitive league, maybe even sooner rather than later, because I got Jacobi Myers of the Las Vegas Raiders. He finished as wide receiver 20. So if you look at that, hey, that's a starting wide receiver in majority of your leagues, right? That's your wide receiver 2 in a sense. And for Jacobi Myers has been impressive because in 2024, he had 126 targets. And the Raiders didn't do much to address the receiving room at all. Now, of course, you have Brock Bowers, who's the tight end 1 last year. He's a phenom, but don't stress over it. And I know they just drafted Genty. Listen, the Raiders went and got Geno Smith. Geno Smith should be going for his 4th year in a row for 4,000 passing yards. 2 years ago, he missed 2 games, but he would have had 4,000 yards consecutively easy ever since making that transition over to the Seahawks. So now Pete Carroll gets a quarterback back. You're going to have a gunslinger in Geno Smith, and the wide receiver 1 on that team is Jacobi Myers. There's no one else to compete. Even when they drafted Jake Betch this past draft, he's having trouble in training camp. He may be possibly wide receiver 3 or 4. They're not even sure. So not much competition there. And for Jacobi Myers in 2024, 0 drops. I mean, that's reliability that you can count on. And especially, like I said, with a gunslinger like Geno Smith, you're going to have Jacobi Myers that's going to be reliable on that field. He's one of those guys that has played one of the most snaps in the NFL offensively. So for Jacobi Myers, I love this upside here, especially when you get later in drafts. He's a great guy to maybe have a flex option, or if you go heavy in other realms in your drafts, wide receiver 2, why not? Because that's kind of where he finished last year. Finally, my 5th guy, we're going to go back to the running back position, and we're going to go in Cincinnati, and I love Chase Brown. He finished as RB10 last year, and that's kind of with a slow start to the season because you still had Zach Moss in front of him because people weren't sure. I bought a lot of stock late into him because I saw the talent that he could have, and he got the opportunities. Since week 3, he averaged 16.6 fantasy points per game. I mean, that was absolutely phenomenal of a performance by him. They didn't do anything to address that backfield, and reports going on right now from training camp is that Zach Moss is going to be like running back 4 or maybe cut during training camp, and we'll see how that turns out. But for Chase Brown, did phenomenal on both sides of the ball, running, catching, especially when you have a team like the Bengals and offense that puts up numbers. He's a part of that as well. From weeks 9 to 17, Chase Brown, 20.6 fantasy points per game. I mean, that's running back 1 numbers, right? So I love Chase Brown. I'm going to definitely target him heavy. If I miss out on Jahmyr Gibbs, who I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I may pair Chase Brown and Achane later into my drafts and solidify my running back room right there. So those are my 5 guys that I'm looking at right now. I'm trying to get as much stock as possible when I head into my drafts. Who are some of the guys that you are thinking about targeting in your upcoming drafts? As always, this is Blitz Fantasy Football. I'm the Dean of Fantasy Football. Till next time, I'll catch you later.